Okay, it says that we are live on YouTube.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Um, oh, I do. All right. It is time for talk therapy.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening?
Yes. Um, we started a little bit late tonight. We had a little technical difficulties, but we are here. So make sure it's talk therapy, sister. Let's talk tonight. We're talking about blurred lines and talking about this quarantine.
Yes.
Make sure you
staying in the house.
yes. Make sure you like and share and hit that button at the top so that every time we come on, you'll get a notification. Like and share it on, share it with your friends. We're trying to grow our channel, so we would appreciate you showing, and always make a comment. But make sure you comment, ask a question, because we go back and look at it, and we address those questions. So welcome tonight. I'm Tara T. Stallings. This is
I'm Melody M. Manning.
and we are the host of Talk Therapy. Tonight we've been talking about a series called Blurred Lines. Yes. And we thought we would change it up again tonight and talk about the quarantine, because we have a lot of lines that are crossed, blurred, scratched out. People are not doing well in this quarantine time, Mel.
Not well at all. Anxiety levels are high, depression is going on, and some people are just having a problem coping with the quiet time and really having to face themselves during this period.
Yes. Well, actually in our area, we've only been quarantined for 9 days. It's not like
it feels like longer.
Yes, it's not like we've been quarantined 15 days or 30 days. It's only been 9 days. And people are not faring well. Like you said, anxiety, depression. And we were talking earlier, and there's a really big problem with people and this COVID-19, the coronavirus. And let's just talk about it a little bit tonight, because we have so many people that don't believe, they're not taking it seriously. But then you have those other ones that have lost their jobs and have been sanctioned to the house, basically, and they're not doing well. They're not doing well because they're having to deal with themselves. Talk about share a little bit about what we talked about today earlier.
Well, a lot of people are, well, let me say this. One of the main things we talked about earlier was that during this time, people are forced to be inside and you have a lot of time to think. So, one of the things that came to mind with me is that in this downtime and being at home, a lot of us are having issues because it causes us to look at, we've actually been keeping busy to avoid some things. putting off some healing that needs to take place, some forgiveness that needs to take place, just some self-realizations that need to take place because we're always busy keeping ourselves going with something that takes our mind off of the things that we really, really need to focus on. So now that we've got that downtime and we're doing more thinking during this time, because a lot of people are not reading and all of that stuff, but they're really sitting there with themselves and you realize that, hey, you know what? I really hadn't forgave about this, or, I've got unresolved issues with this. So it's causing them to have to really face themselves. And some people are having problems with it because they're used to always being so busy, and that busyness covers up a lot of things. Because the first thing we do is when we're hurt or we're trying to get over something, or if there's been a bad breakup or whatnot, first thing we do is we throw ourselves into something and keep our minds busy and occupied with something else instead of really dealing with what we need to deal with. And a lot of people are not handling this time well.
I agree with you totally. And that's one reason we decided to talk about it, because people create a sanction for themselves to deal with issues while not dealing with them. Now that they're isolated, they're forced to, okay, those thoughts in my head, those issues that I never addressed. Now I have time, the quiet time, the isolation, and now I have to deal with them, which is causing anxiety, which is maybe causing depression. And then I would also say you have people that are just not good at being by themselves. They have always had someone around. They never taken the time. I call it the man in the mirror. They never take the time to deal with myself and I always say, I share that we roll with 3 people all the time. That's me, myself, and I. And they never get to know myself, and definitely not I, because they have too many people around them, or they're always busy or doing something that causes them not to deal with the whole of themselves.
And that's true. That's very, very true. A lot of people, I can't even think of how I want to say it's a real, dealing with yourself sometimes can be scary. We can deal with others and their issues and stuff, but when it comes to that self-evaluation time, it can be scary. And then you just may not know how to deal with yourself and some of the things that you need to confront. So with that, I think this time is going to probably be a good time that people are going to start reaching out to those who can actually help them if they're having some issues that they don't know how to deal with. And then some may not even realize they're having the issue or that it's a problem.
Well, some of them are self-medicating. We've been watching social media and we see people they're self-medicating with alcohol, they're self-medicating with a cookout, they're food overeating, they're doing things, they're self-medicating with Netflix. So they're finding things to do to self-medicate that time instead of actually deal with them and their issues.
Yeah, because this could be a time of recovery.
Yes.
This time could be a time of recovery. And I'm guilty of some of it because I'm eating the snacks. Left and right. I'm in the store just about every 2 days buying snacks. So that, and then another thing that I had to realize, I'm napping my way through a lot of things, because I'm like anybody else, I'm gonna be transparent. there's some things that, I need to work on as far as melody. And, I find myself, it's easier to take a nap than to have to deal, with that. So some of us are sleeping our way,
Wow.
way through it. But I have realized that about myself. So I've got to work on that. And I know if I've got this problem, other people got this problem too. We just need to be honest about it, and it's some things that I need to make some changes on, some things that I need to move past or whatnot. Because again, I'm human, you know,
Mm.
and I found my alcohol is not my choice. Getting in my bed, taking a nap is my choice.
That's that's your drug of choice.
That's my drug of choice. It's my bed, taking a nap, because I done took plenty naps. But
appreciate that, because we all have something that we deal with it, and we deal with things differently, and just the change is necessary, but it's not always easy. And this is a major change in the United States, and then it's a major change individually. So it's, even though we may know that we need to do certain things, and we may want to do certain things, want to change and advance and make ourselves better in certain areas, when the rubber meets the road, actually putting the words to actions can be very difficult, because change causes you to do something different. And it's difficult sometimes to do something different consistently. Like, we talked about last week, we got quarantined. The first few days was fine. Okay, that's good. But it's a different when you have to be, when you want to be quarantined and you want to be isolated, and you have to be isolated. So it causes you to, okay, like I said, I was going to do all this stuff. I hadn't did a lot of stuff that I was going to do. But because now I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? Well, I have to force myself almost. And I hate to use that word because it's kind of harsh, but to create change, you have to mentally and physically reprogram your mind and your actions, so in a consistent manner, so that you can produce change. And that's not easy all the time. That's very different.
It's not. And we can make the plans, because I sat down in my planner this weekend, and I went through, made my plans for the whole week. I'm gonna do this on this day, I'm gonna do that, and blah 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 blah. Well, as of today, I have not done what was on my schedule.
You kind of going in and out
for today, but the execution part of it is we. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you hearing me?
Went out. Yeah, your signal kind of went out a little bit.
Okay.
Can you repeat what you said?
Okay. When it comes to the mindset change and making plans, is all about the execution of it. Because we can make plans all day long. We can say we have a new mindset, because that can be the trendy thing to say. I've got a new mindset, a new way of thinking, but are you executing it? That's the difference. Mm-hmm. That's the main ingredient of it, is, are you executing? What are you doing? What's your action move? What's your action plan? Are you moving in it? Are you just sitting there saying it? So that's one of the things with mindset. So if you're realizing that, one, you don't like being alone, that this is just a little too much for you, because it's causing you to be alone with yourself, what are you going to do to make yourself comfortable with yourself and able to be alone? what are you planning out to do? I say first thing you need to do is figure out why you got a problem being alone.
I totally agree.
You know, because there's something usually behind it why we're not okay being alone. In the last year or so, I'm okay being alone. You know, I can stay in my house every day, you know, and it doesn't bother me, and I can keep myself company and occupied, and I'm good. But before that, I was a very busy person, had to be here, had to be going there. But then there was some life changes that took place that caused me to be okay with sitting. I had to get there where I had to get to a point where I was okay with the house being quiet. I was okay with no one else being there, that it was only me. And it took some getting used to and actually appreciating that time, because it gave me more time to meditate. My mind was clearer during that time because I didn't have any outside distractions or whatnot. And for the longest, you know, I was living by myself. My son just came back, but that was my time where I really got to know melody. And I learned what melody, how you say, all my isms are, and all those things, the good and the bad about melody, you know. So you got to figure out why you don't like being by yourself.
Yeah.
And it can be scary.
Because most people, if you ask them the first thing, oh, I love being with me. Yeah, you it's easy to say that when you're always with someone, when the me part of you always has company. See, outside company. It's easy to say, oh, I love being me. I love being by myself. Or I'm good with me. Because, you know, that's the word, the lingo that people use. I'm good with me. But it's always, it seems that people say that, but they're always, the me side of them always has company. One or two people around them or more to keep them occupied. So they really don't deal with themselves. You know, I say me, myself, and I, because when I say me is that outer shell. Me is the person that they have become, that they've molded into a image that's pleasing to everybody else. Myself is the mindset of who you really are. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. That's who that myself is. And I is the true you. I use it as the spiritual you, the person that you were intended to be. We never, a lot of times we never, even we step from going from knowing who me and myself, a lot of times we merge the me and myself together. You know, we may fix that part, but we never transform into that I person, the person that we were created to be, because we still stuck in, okay, I dealt with my hurts, my fears, my faults, my past, my isms, but that's as far as I went. I just dealt with them. I didn't do anything else with them. I identified them. I know that there. I fixed what I needed to fix, and I left it there. They never step into the transformation of the I part of that's who you were created to be, you were purposed to be, so that they can be fulfilled, merging the three, because the I part actually drives the myself and the me part, because it makes a person become one in who they are, so that they can live out their true purpose. Now, I know I said a whole lot right there, but most people never get there. And when I say most people, I would dare to say 90%, 90 to 95% of people never get to that wholeness of who they truly are, because they never take the time, because it takes time, it takes dedication, and it takes being uncomfortable
Mhm.
to get to that merging of the me, myself, and I.
And I can see that, I can grasp that, because I'm going, again, I'm gonna use me. Is during the time when I was first alone by myself, alone living by myself or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that time. It wasn't always pretty what I saw about myself. You know what I'm saying? There
Mm-hmm.
were some times where I was like, ooh, if I was another person, I would not like this about me.
Okay.
And then there were some things that I actually shed some tears about. So I can see getting to that level is not an easy feat,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to start on the road to that. We may never make it to that percentage, but we have to start on the road to it, because even with that it falls into the blurred line
Yes.
where we can say we are a total package. We got it all together and whatnot, because we don't realize some of the things that we project to other people, because to us, everything all right, because you hadn't really sat down and dealt with yourself. So it can cause some blurred lines, and it can cause us to blame a lot of things on other people that they may not actually need to blame for. It may be us.
Wow.
So,
And
it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, but I think we all should do it, especially in this time. So when you see those things or whatnot, make your plan as to how you're going to come out of this better. And I'm going to go a little bit further, looking at ourselves also when we're thinking about others, when we're thinking about finances and stuff during this time, because everybody's, anxiety's high. We don't know how this is going to play out. Some people are not working right now. Um, they're concerned with future bills and stuff. How you going to do this? I say sit down and make a plan. Look on the is a through situation. We're gonna get through this. So if you get through something, you're moving through it. There's gonna be something on the other side of it. Well, are you prepared for what's on the other side? Take this time to do the self-evaluation. If you're worried about financing, this is a good time to learn how to start budgeting your money.
yes.
If you feel your relationship is not good with God, this is time to sit down and start talking to him more and get in the word.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are so entangled in, and this is something we discussed also, the lingo of things. I trust God, I believe God, but then we're steady following that with a but. I trust God, but
Mm-hmm.
I believe in God, but and I'm big on faith. Like you said, faith is an action
Yes.
word. That means you got to actually be doing something, got to actually be thinking in it. And the thing is do we actually understand and grasp the true meaning of trust?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I don't think we understand that true meaning of trust. Because I've heard people say, even in relationships, I trust you as far as I can see him.
Yes.
But are you really trusting? Because that's a blurred line.
Let's
Because if
talk
you
about
trust,
that. Let's talk about that, because I think that's something that needs to be addressed, because do people really understand what it means to trust, what it means to have faith, what it means to really truly believe? Or are they just used to using the church lingo or the politically correct thing to say without understanding?
yeah. Because if I say I trust you, well, let me say it like this. I trust people until you give me a reason not to trust you. So when I say I trust you, and if you're saying something to me, more than I'm taking it in. Now, this doesn't mean be stupid. You know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
have to use wisdom all the time. But when you're telling me something or you bring it, until you give me a reason not to believe it. But I'm not looking for that reason. You understand what? I don't know if it makes sense or whatnot.
Yes.
But that's trust. Now, if I say I trust you no further than I don't really trust you. Because I've already made up my mind, when you get out of my sight, you're going to do whatever you want to do anyway. Right. And that you are going, that's basically saying you are going to do it.
So that's not trust.
That's not trust. You know. So do we really understand what trust is?
Yeah. Because and I think that's one of the major issues with people that say they, love God, the Most High God, because I always ask them what God and which Jesus, because I need to know which one you're talking about. So,
you have to ask these days,
right? So I think that's major because we have been taught the theatrics, and I'm going to say theatrics of faith, theatrics of Christendom, and we never built a relationship with God. We built a relationship with church or the church system and the church lingo, understanding that, but we never built a relationship with God. People never built a relationship with God, understanding who he is and being able to, because the word of God says what? He gives us a measure of faith. Well, okay, that's a small part. So that means he gives you a measure, so it has to be built upon. You have to experience God so that through good times, through bad times, to be able to build your faith in God. It's just like being in a relationship. You said yourself, well, I'm gonna trust you until you give me a reason not to. Well, if they never give you a reason not to, and they show you that they are worthy in different situations, that's going to build your trust in that person. But most people, I have noticed that because they have a relationship with the church or the church system, and they don't have one with God the Father, with Jesus Christ, the lines are blurred and they get misscrewed because they see the things that's going on within the church system, the affiliations, the organizations, and they associate that with a relationship with God. So when they're faced with a situation like COVID-19 and having to walk out what you say you believe, it's always a but behind it because they don't have a relationship with the God that they say they love. They have a relationship, and I won't even say a relationship. They have a knowing with the church affiliation and with the church lingo.
And that's so true. And I'm gonna say this: relationship with God goes further than just because you sit in a pew every Sunday.
Come on.
Because a lot of people get that confused. That relationship is it's a two-way street, and it's a personal thing. A personal, intimate thing. So you gotta have something more than just because you go to church every Sunday.
Yes.
Than for a true relationship. That's something else people need to really to get an understanding on also.
Well, let's talk about that, because a lot of people don't know the difference. They think because they go to church on Sunday, they are a member of a church, they go to Bible study, that they have a relationship with God. And that's not what it is. They have a relationship with their local because I know people that would not dare leave their church, because it's a family church, and they will tell you, oh, I'm not leaving this is my family church. That's not God. They will not leave that church. They're not learning anything, because they'll say, I've heard people say, well, church was good. And then you ask them what was it about? They can't tell you. When they read their Bible, they'll say, well, I don't have an understanding. Well, and they've been in church. They may be 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, been going to church all their life, and have no understanding, no wisdom, no knowledge of what the word actually says. They only go on what they heard Big Mama say, or the pastor say, or the church lingo throughout the years, but they have no idea what the word says. So when trials and tribulations or hard times or situations come, they don't know what to do, because they never built the relationship. They just went through the steps of what you just, especially, I'm gonna say especially African Americans, the steps of going to church, of being a part of the church. But because I'm a member of such and such. What church? Because that's a bit. What church you a member of? And I used to jokingly say, I'm a member of the Church of God. And then when I would say that, oh, the Church of God in Christ, no, no, not the Church of God in Christ. I'm a member of the Kingdom of God. I'm a member of all churches. I can go to all churches. I got a card for all. If they serving God, I got a free card. I'm a member there, because we are a body. It's not a building. And they would look at me so strange, like, what in the world is this lady talking about? Or I would hear people say, well, what's your faith? And I'll say, and it used to confuse me. I said, what do you mean? What's my faith? I believe in God. No, what's your faith? What church? What's denomination? Well, denomination is not faith. It's a man-made doctrine of beliefs for a church system. That's what that is. It has nothing to do with God. If you have Baptist, you have Methodist, you have non-denominational is a denomination. You have Church of God of Christ, Holiness, there are a few other ones, and people would
Pentecostal, you got.
So, and I'm like, well, my faith is in God. My faith is not a denomination. And that confuses people. That confuses people, because we have correlated faith with what church system you belong to. And we have not correlated faith with belief, adhering to God, the Father.
Wow. That's true. That's true. Because I've had a question before too. So I understand that. But it's easy to get lines blurred on so many things. And when you're dealing with blurred lines, it's tricky too. Yeah. When you're talking about people, because they can't see where the lines are blurred for themselves sometimes. So that's why it can be tricky. But the blurred lines can cross over into a lot of things. And especially during this time, we can come susceptible. We can easily be drawn into blurred lines.
Yes.
Not seeing things clearly, because we're actually looking with the physical eye. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you got to come out of what you actually physically see in situations. Because I keep saying it now, I'm excited. I know that there, and a lot of people may not understand why I feel that way, but I understand, I grasp everything that's going on, but I am truly excited for what God is going to do during this time, because I know through it all, He's going to get the glory for it.
Yes.
And to me, it's like a fixed fight when you look at the situation. It's a fixed fight to me. I mean, and I've got to understand, and I got to believe that He's going to win. So why not just go ahead and rejoice and be, His biggest cheerleader during the fight? Because when we go to a football game, or when we go to a basketball game, in the midst of that game, we're looking at the score. We know, somebody's good. We're cheering for that person, even if they get knocked down one or two times. Guess what? We still gonna cheer for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have to be mindful and careful of blurred lines. And I think this is a good time also for us that's dealing with a lot of things, especially with the hips. I was sharing with you, I think it may have been the other day. I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing the families with the TikTok videos and all of that, because you have to think, when we're working, we always busy.
Yeah.
So some people are not able to spend this quality time with their children. Some spouses, they're always working, so they're not able to spend this time that they have with their family like they want to. So this is, to me, it's an excellent time. Even though everything's going on, it has, some things that we need to look at and be thankful and grateful and celebrate also.
Yes.
With it.
I definitely agree with you with that. We were sharing. I said this time is what's going on in the family. You're either gonna make love or you're gonna make war, and you have that. You have people that that this is the time of we heard that word, and we're gonna hear this word reset. It's a reset for their marriage. It's a reset for their families. It's a reset for them. But even in that reset can be good, and the reset could be not so good, because some of that reset means, okay, now y'all gonna come together, y'all gonna be closer, you're gonna have that bond, the family's gonna be better. But then also in that reset, those people that realize, hey, I don't really like you. And instead of us making love, we're making war, because now we have to really deal with each other's issues. And I don't like you. What I've noticed is, in the past when I work with couples, is people learn how to tolerate each other. And tolerating each other, like we said earlier, well, I can tolerate you because I don't have to see you but 2 hours at night. It's time to go to bed. We're going to have sex, go to sleep, and then in the morning, I'm not going to see you all day. Or I may not see you when I get home, you sleep or whatever. And I don't have to really deal with you, interact with you that often. So they've learned to tolerate them. So now with this time of being quarantined, they got to deal with those persons, and they are not dealing very well. And the reset will be, they're going to divorce, they're going to split up, and they're going to see, hey, this is not working for me.
Yeah. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you may have some couples that may be having some issues, and this is a chance to do that, as you said, a reset, and it's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, when you're close, you're getting this chance to think and really concentrate on how much the other person means to you, by spending that time with them. So that's another aspect of it. I've been joking. When this is over with, it's going to be some babies born.
Yes, ma'am.
Or some divorces.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
It's gonna be, it's gonna be some stuff, and it's gonna probably be some engagements that's coming, after this too, because you have couples that are cohabitating that are not married. So even in this time, they're discovering the importance of them, maybe being married. So there's a lot of things that's gonna come out of this.
I agree. Look, and it's gonna be some people, some parents that's gonna appreciate those teachers
Yes.
and realize that their lovely baby that never does anything bad is they bad. That the teacher is not a liar, and those that their children are horrible, and they're gonna cause. See, one thing I've learned is every actor has to put his part down, and those children being in quarantine at home, they're gonna start showing how they act at school.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the parents are gonna see, oh wow, this not working. They're gonna have a
LaQuisha in class is acting up.
yes,
LaQuisha can't sit in class to be quiet because she can't sit at the table and get a lesson.
exactly. And that mean teacher that just don't like her is not that, because your child is misbehaving. Yes.
So yeah, we're learning a lot about ourselves during this time. Another thing I discovered, and again, I'm put it back on myself because it may just help somebody else, is that not being able to go to my TJ Maxx, my Marshalls, and my Ross, all my little stores. That you know what, Melody, you was actually spending money and buying stuff you didn't necessarily had to have. Because now that I can't go there, I'm thinking, okay, if I was going there, what would I buy? And would I really need, what I buy? So it's a time to evaluate a lot of things while we sitting at home, So it could be simple things, small things, or it could be big things that we can evaluate. And the best part is some of it you could just look at it and you could just laugh.
Yes. Yes.
And just laugh at what's going on with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm excited, and I know that this is going to be a great time for reset for those that are, we are in the body of Christ and we are believers. And I know that, and just for the body of Christ in general, because it's for me, it's forcing me to pray more. A lot of times I've said, okay, Lord, I need to get my prayer life. I've been, how we slack up, but it's causing me to reevaluate and dig deeper into my prayer life and my word and even my relationship with God. Not that I talk to him every day anyway, but on a deeper level, so that I can operate on another level once I've been reset. I'm reset on a higher plane and not reset on a lower plane, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Well, Mel, we've been, our time is actually, we've been on here about 40 minutes. So
really?
Yes, we have. And we know we said that we were going to be a little bit longer tonight because of the quarantine, but we want to make sure our viewers listen. You guys, we thank you for listening, and we want to make sure if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and you hit the like button, and share us with your friends on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Share us with your viewers so that people can hear and get healed, because we have people that are listening, that the information that we're sharing, because we're real, raw, and relevant. This information is going to help people, especially during this time. And we had already said we didn't put it in stone, but we may be coming on a little bit more since we're in quarantine, just talking about real, raw, and relevant, things that's going on during this quarantine, these blurred lines, because we want to really help people during this time.
Yeah. I that's a good one. So, and I did, guys, I did share the YouTube over on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, come on over to YouTube. And while you're here watching us, hit the subscribe button. So whenever we go on, you'll be notified as well as to when we're on YouTube. Because we had said eventually we were going to be, basically on YouTube. So we want you all to keep watching our videos on YouTube. So if you're from Facebook, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you'll be able to stay in touch with us as to when we're on live and recording. But it's been interesting tonight. I think we're gonna have some good stuff to talk about. Tara had mentioned earlier, hey, maybe we need to go on a little more often. I think we do. And, you know, maybe talk about some stuff just to make people laugh and some other stuff besides just the quarantine.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
that's going on. Because, you know, we got plenty of stuff we can.
Yes, we do. Look, we might need to talk about those late night texts and calls that people just for the single people that's in quarantine. Now the old friends are calling and texting, hey, what you doing? You're bored now, you want to call.
Ooh, can we talk about that?
Yes,
Can we talk about it? Because the text messages and the inboxes that, hey, I'm thinking about you and I miss you and what you doing. Yeah, because they've been coming real frequently.
All right. Thank you guys for listening, for joining. Make sure you share and like and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.
Y'all have a good one.